2, 1. We can do that, you know. When we're presenting ourselves in front of a video camera. Knowing your media allows you space to break some rules. And I love breaking rules, little ones. And I was very, very fortunate to have Charles pick one. I picked one. I pulled the book right out of there and picked that one up because that was the next speech in my advanced speaking. Now, I've completed my ACG. I have 2 more to finish another ACG. And I've done about 15 others. Over the last year, in fact, 4 months in last year, I finished my ACG, and I had 1 speech, I think, left in that grouping to finish my first one, which was a CC, the advanced communicator, or the first communicator. And where it comes in and where the excitement is in me completing things through my life. I have these objectives I do, and then I run and I get them done. And I got the other side of it then. Then I have my responsibility to contribute what I have just done. Now, does everyone have the business card? Okay. We got to get one. Go grab one from there and give it to Charlie. Oh, you have the? Okay. That is a business card. Of course. Now, if you are an expert in something, you want to contribute. Now, I have 5 degrees. And each time I got one of those things, I said, man, I'm going to get a lot out of this. And what I found was that my responsibility was contribute more. I had these new things, these new tools. And my job was to contribute back with each one of those. Now, I now have the ACG, and somewhere down the way I'll get a DTM. I'm not that excited about administration. Seeing I've been president of a company for 35 years. But I am excited about being able to communicate. And being a good communicator, you're looking to say, what can I do with this new information I have? I am now a phenomenally great speaker. And I can go out, and I can pick a subject, and I can start talking on it. And normally they cut me off at 10 minutes or so now, because I'm advanced. Used to cut me off at 5 to 7. Now they cut me off at 10. So I'm really in 7 to heaven. The last group, I was just down the road at XR. And so I took a manual, I divided it, and I says, okay, this speech I'll just have 4 parts in, because I already had gave the first one. So I get to do a 10-minute speech. Oh, I got a 40 or 50-minute speech. I love it. I can add value. So what have I done? I says, what's the next step? What is the next step for me to do? It's to create something with the tools I have to add value back to the world. Now, what is the main thing that we are really lacking in this world? Or at least I feel it lacking. The main thing we're lacking is appreciation of ourselves. Why? Because our society and everything around us wants to contain us, mold us, make humble good. And so, if you ask a person to stand in front of a camera or tell a story about who? Themselves, what do? They panic. Why? Because everything about them and everything about life is set up to contain them. And you notice I'm being dynamic because they closed the door. But you gotta get where we as individuals should be is as we grow, as we get older, we should go and start documenting us. And how do we want to document us? As an engineer? That doesn't sound very much fun. Are your kids going to watch an engineer's talk about you? Well, technically, on this date, I was... Nah. You got to tell them a great story. You have to tell them your story, and you have to make it exciting. I set this up because I said, I want to win in life. What's my wins now? Hey, what are the things that I've accomplished in life? I've done a lot of things. I'm still president of a multi-million-dollar company. I am a multi-millionaire. Okay? And I started as a truck driver. I was driving truck until I was a quarter century old. However, all these accomplishments I did, sort of I stuck them in my back pocket and I walked on to the next thing. And my latest over the last 30 years has been technology. I wrote software to run governments. You see the PERS that was up here? Well, my software is a major PERS recorder for the cities in California. In fact, we were the first ones this year to get PERS out the door. The new laws. But stepping back, I want to tell my story. And I want to pound on my chest. But if I pound on my chest, it doesn't really make me very satisfied. Because if I'm going to pound on my chest, what I want to do is help everyone pound on their chest. Because if I go in a room and I pound on my chest and everyone says, oh, okay, and I walk away. Now, if I pound on my chest and then Dave comes up and he pounds on his chest, then I feel good. Because then I'm sitting in a tennis court where I've got someone else on the other side that I'm playing with. Okay? What I want and where I'm going is to create a desire and the tools to go out and bring everyone up to a great bragging spot where they can brag about themselves, where they can tell phenomenal old men stories. And our lady here says, well, that doesn't include us ladies. Well, I'll tell you, I got the rights to old men's stories. I also have the right to old women's stories. Do you know how many women want to get in old women's stories? 0. They don't mind getting in old men's stories. So I have more ladies actually in Old Men's Stories Club than I have men. Because it's cooler. Old Men's Stories sounds cooler. I mean, you could look at it all ways and say there's a sexual thing. It just sounds cooler. It's like male men instead of male persons. You know, I could have old people's stories, but it's so dull. So, Old Men's Stories is about creating a spot for people to tell their stories and giving them the tools to do it. Now, if you go on there, you will find, on Old Men's Stories, you will find where we have a radio show. Now, what is that? It's an extension of me. I learn one thing, so the next thing to do is expand what I do. So I have a radio show every Monday. I do it at Mentor Graphics right after the Toastmasters. I've been doing it now for 13 weeks. We will have a book out at the end of July. Whoa! Advance more and more and more and more. Contributing back, getting people to do it. Now, I just have this one thing that I want to bring in. What is the thing that has been created in the last 3-4 years that allows this to happen? What? Technology. How much is a terabyte? Oh! How much? You know, I spent $45,000 for 10 megabytes in 1976. Okay? $45,000 to get my company going. And I didn't have it to do. And it sat there about a year later. It sat there and it never was used again. We have terabytes of data. We have technology to create and record ourselves. Sit down, learn old men's stories, study it, become a contributor to yourself. There is nothing better than feeling great about yourself when you tell a story about yourself well. Please join Old Men's Stories.